March the 3rd, 2021 it is, and I am about to submit to you more proofs about MK Ultra case, due to which I have lost no less than 26 years of life. After pointing out more witnesses involved in this case, yes, I did manage to collect additional proofs, identify more people that were involved in MK Ultra case. I will concern on the main issue of this MK Ultra case. I don't know if this pertains to every case, but for me the biggest deal about my MK Ultra case was loss of employment. Basically, I was blacklisted at unemployment market on no less than 2 continents, on a Northern American continent and throughout the entire European continent. No, this was not only about denial the right to apply for political asylum in several countries such as Sweden, Norway, Belgium, Germany, Hungary, Ukraine, Belarus, and so on, Canada and so on. No, this is not it. This was about, at one point in time, within the very short period of time, basically between 2006 and 2010, 2011, decline in me. Over 30,000 job applications I have submitted to potential employers. Basically, what exactly MK Ultra was used for on a job market, if you like. Now I am referring to anywhere from heavy financial losses, torture, ongoing torture, and the worst, I have even faced employment like a crown of everything that was done against me, through which I was compelled to literally break my spine. Even that kind of stuff went on, and trust me when I say this, I eventually got away with cheap, with a low cost. It could have been much worse for me. It could have resulted in much worse consequences. I will talk to you about more about on this subject at the end of this video. But the first thing is first, let's go straight to the core issue. Number one, let me demonstrate to you how I have identified, well, more witnesses, more people, if you like, good, I don't even know how you say that in English, cemeterians involved in the case, people that would come sort of to rescue, to help me out, to see if I remember, if I can identify them, and so on. In this case, a beautiful family from opposite side of Slovenia, where I am from, Skofja, Loka, Gorenska. Let me demonstrate to you exactly I am talking about. Something like this. I have transported, used for transport, sometimes in 2006 upon return from United States of America. And I have to tell you that financially, when you are talking about what you see right here, did cost me in a solid loss of about at least 1,000 euros, but this is just financially. While looking on a long run, this have left me with some psychological consequences, and at the end of this video I will explain to you more about it. So this is the kind of jobs they would use It's not about just identifying what happened to you under MK Ultra here, but they did this stuff in such a disgusting way that more likely than not you would kind of probably even lost yourself in a lot of issues that would involve anywhere from anger, frustration, financial struggle, actually really, really disturbing stuff, some of which I was not even capable to explain, but I will go about it, because now this is just another employer in a line of proofs I have managed to collect. It's not about Poland only, where 3 employers were identified, such as Fujitsu, then a private cable company, and the first company where I was compelled to literally break my spine to survive, to get out of that immigration camp, if you remember. There were 3 companies. In this case here in Slovenia, we have now proof. For one, that's a Skofja Loka, and as soon as I return to Slovenia, there is another case that involves a local here, board for self-employment. They have gone as far as not only organizing this stuff at private employers, but it would go as far as organizing, in case you would like to self-employ yourself, and they would have some funds available from European Union. They even have that kind of stuff organized so that you would not manage to get through under any circumstance. And I got to commend the people that are involved in this project, who have eventually gave me also right here in Novo Mesto ability, the chance to identify them too, right through that if you like application procedure for self-employment. It was also that kind of stuff, and I have now collection for this, for the Skofja local location. I have now collection for the Novo Mesto. They targeted all over the state, and in Poland, in other countries too, and even more so beautiful, I also have something what is a little further up from Trebne, which I already have submitted you. There was another employer. Before I even started to work in there, I had managed to identify. Along all those other employers, then that actually makes it a chain of proofs, and is literally to MK Ultra that I will use on a court of law to prove the point about here. Now, this is what resulted in a 26 years loss of life, 26 years loss of 26 years of life in my case. I would not even go at this point in time about what exactly what exactly have I gone through concerning other issues. At the end of the video, let's go step by step. First, let's go to the proof for which I already have prepared here. Windows Movie Maker, just like that. Extracted this audio recording. It's look a little bit loud, a little bit hard for me to hear, but for those that speak Slovenian, it won't be difficult. I'm gonna post a separate audio. I might eventually even include one at the end of the video, and I'm gonna put one separately under this video so you can just have video completely separately, original as it is. It's amplified. Like I said, I worked with them for this 13 minutes, and I was just lucky enough to get exactly what I needed to get, because this is a really big one for me. Let's go. About the video before I get into this thing was recorded on February the 24th, 2021. That's about a week ago. You get the original audio right here, just like that. And I did manage to point out the location at this place, in this 25,000 habitants area, Skofja, Loka, location of the house of the gentleman's, of the husband's wife, as well as also location of his house. And in addition to that, I was also capable to point out some renovation stuff and stuff like this, which was quite amusing. I think I kind of amused a couple with ability to pull something I think they did not even anticipate it I would go just like that. I had a long day that day, and still I didn't miss this. Well, I always start like this. Hi, how are you? They had a beautiful dog, and I did not even suspect about who these people were. At first, I started to play with the dog, had a friendly conversation with them, and one thing led into another. They allowed me to identify quite a few things.
Samo ne bo grizno. Jo, moraš grizno.
Hey, he's not gonna bite me, right? I say to them, he says, maybe he will.
Ugrizo bi me,
Ne.
ne?
Jaz sem dejal, da verjetno ne bo ugriznil.
Ja, da verjetno ne bi.
He most likely will not bite you. I said he most likely will not bite you.
Verjetno ne bi ugrizo, se me preseneti.
Ne, niste dobro poslušal.
Ja, ne.
He said, no, you did not hear this well. No, he would most likely not bite you unless he would be upset.
Gerenci, ja.
Ampak znate pa biti zelo glasna.
Wife says you understood him not too well because he's from Gorenska region. That's why he's got this accent. Well, this accent is the same like from Novo Mesto. I don't have any kind of difficulty understanding that. No, that's already information that they are from Gorenska region. That's a really good one, but at this point in time I have no idea who I am still talking to at all.
Nije plano bana.
Da imamo fanti rade funkcije.
Ja, uzredno. Fanti imamo raditi.
I am joking, and I ask what kind of sex is this dog, and they tell me it's a female, and I say, oh yeah, don't worry about. I tell her it's usually that the girls like boys, you know, in that sense, and they are laughing and said, yeah, they do. They like girls also like boys too. The guy is joking. He says, I like female dog because it's more calm. I said, yeah, I like it too. It's more calm. They're more, female dogs are more calm, whatever. He says, I'm pretty sure. I tell him, because he's a guy, I'm pretty sure that does happen though. I tell him, I'm pretty sure that the dog also is more tied to you. I'm pretty sure that this female dog likes you more. They probably like you more. And he says, no. He actually likes her better. And I say, I see.
Resno, da.
Jaz sem tretja violina. Zjutraj, ali pa se služba prideva, gre na mene, če bi me ne bilo. Pa jo,
He says, when I come from the job, when I go to the job, when I come from the job, the dog go past me like I don't even exist, he says. And I try to share with him something similar I had experienced, but not like this. No, not like this. My dog was not like that. He wouldn't see me. It was exactly the opposite. But really, taking dog out in the morning and after the lunch and in the evening, it's something I haven't done when I got that dog first in US, and my ex-wife did. And based on that experience, that female dog, just like in his case, also was tied to her more than to me. So it's a kind of equivalent to the time you're gonna spend outside. It's pretty much the way I see. I'm trying to share with him how a dog is gonna see you. And the early beginnings, dogs never forget who was the one that was the first one that took initiative to take them out and this and that. They remember this forever.
No, non può essere.
to je ova, Sanki bila mečkina,
Che je bila mečka, a ne,
bila
pa jaz
mečkina.
pa šola pa to sve
pa
skupaj.
jaz sem bil takrat službeno v sobi nekaj,
Potiti, su questa cura registrera,
pa jaz sem biti, nisem bolj oskar, ti pa nimajo radi bolj.
Pa sam naredil.
Pa ima dan tem za njo, zdaj ne bo, čas ti za mlada.
opet non je pametno.
To je takva pametna.
Ja,
The dog, this is some kind of poodle, something like this. Is a very nice, very kind dog. Just running along us. They're rushing, really. The whole thing is going fast. We're going fast at this point.
Mi nismo nikad gdje.
to kad je mi dovoljno, ne? A vi ste pod mene?
Ja.
So I say, and you're from Gorensk, I say, huh? I want to know a little bit, gradually, systematically, I want to learn a little bit more about this beautiful family. And he says, yeah. And he tells me, I am from Skofja, Loka. And I say, oh, Skofja, Loka, I see.
Изпълвам да се на бискали.
Ne, Kira se postavlja.
Черта се е присъединила.
Ona je na ratu.
The daughter moved to Ratesh. This is why we're here. We're visiting the daughter. I say, oh, well, now that's already a really beautiful information right there. The daughter who moved to Ratesh, and a papa who is Gorenska region, man original from Skofja, Loka. That's a whole lot of information to me right now, just a little bit more, and we're gonna be right there.
Ама вие сте тук и номер.
Ne,
Ще ми първи.
prvi. Samo nista pa ulika to.
Вие сте по-велика, ги видите? Аха, я съм бил пресичен, да сте морда видите.
Okay, I have no idea what I told her, but I am trying to kind of insist, at least for the wife, because the wife, she looks like somebody right here from Novo Mesto region. She is like very different from him. Let me explain a little bit, like physical characteristics. His physical characteristics are different than her physical characteristics. She is a little bit more like typical here from Dolenska region, something like this. And he is like facially kind of looking like, I would say like Polish, Czech, something like this, from up north. And so the thing is, I'm wrong here. They both are from Skofja, Loka. Now we have, aha, I already know who these people are, and I am absolutely positive. Now, tick tock, tick tock, tick, I have no more than 10 minutes, not only to come up with a solution, but to confront and find out. So I don't have much time at all. We keep walking, and this is gonna make all the difference for me in this world at this point in time. This is extremely important one.
Kuparov, Kuparov. Ja, a greš v Loko živeti.
One more time we're gonna do that. I like his laughter, he's really happy.
Kuparov, Kuparov. Ja, a greš v Loko živeti.
Das ist von Projekt.
Yeah, you mistaken that with someone, something like that. In that sense, I'm gonna put it this way. It's something they wouldn't want me to do this because of other things. But this gentleman, once he got involved into this case, he had real problems. Unfortunately, this is the way it is in Slovenia, because of his physical looks. Unfortunately, through the politic which arrived from Serbia, really severe division of the society commenced in Slovenia. And the worst part about this is that we had people in Slovenia that contributed greatly to that. I don't like to discuss about these things, but I have to say upfront that discrimination, division within the Slovenian society exists. And the people I personally had met during MK Ultra here in Slovenia, the people that were associated with a Cetic movement from Serbia, in my personal opinion, did not differ from those that entered the country in 1940 under the leadership of Adolf Hitler. That's basically from the German side. I didn't like that even a little bit. In this case, we have a gentleman that looks more or less like myself, and we have a wife that kind of looks like, I don't even know how I would say, like she would, like, she's actually original Slovenian. Well, we come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, some are like this, some are like that. She just looked like that. He could be I, and she could be someone, I don't know, I'm gonna meet or something like this, marry, have kids. But the people who came here to Slovenia, they came with a completely wrong intentions, and they found support here for the stuff they should not push the nose into. The laughter that you heard from the gentleman, it's got much deeper origins. Eventually, because of his involvement into my case, because he was trying to help me out, because of maybe also my foolishness, because I did trigger problems. I'm going to explain in continuation. for the people who were trying to help me out. It was all kinds of stuff that went on, but really, the one who used this case was the one who engaged in war against Bosnian people, against Croatian people, actively so, with as much as violence as circumstances permitted. And it's the same one that actively engaged in war against Ukrainian people in Donetsk and in Crimea. That is exactly the one. There is no second one in between, and that one needed all the hatred they possibly could obtain to convince not only their side there is such thing like evil, but also even infiltrate the other side, where they were trying to suggest that we had eventually more common than what they were creating. And just as I already have explained, Belgrade and Moscow were not creating anything other than a hatred. It was all about hate, 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 hate. In his case, in his scenario, this gentleman was deeply investigated. Most of the people were. They were trying to even set him up with another female that would look more like, you know, with like lighter complexion DNA, what would consequently brought to destruction of entire family, I believe. But because this man was just and is a really honest, great, family-oriented individual without absolutely any kind of back plans, hidden agendas, if you like. He loves his wife dearly and his daughter. This is what means to him. That's what his entire life is to him. Mr. Borut Pahor just couldn't prove for Mr. Vucic. They were both trying to prove that something would be wrong with him. So regardless of how much they tried to set him up, they couldn't. They too failed on that test. So let's continue with that stuff. Look, I remember about the stuff that went on, and the stuff that went on, I'm gonna say I deeply disagree. This is not how it's done, especially when considering the politicians who were having... I have respect for them. I'm just gonna say ladies, all kinds of ladies on the side, you know, whether that be a Poland or Serbia or Slovenia or wherever they went, it was a happy one. Wherever it will be, wherever they would go, that's pretty much the stuff they would do. And these were the kind of people that would even go and take upon themselves jobs such as judging other people on their lives, on their views and stuff like this, so they could boost their political agenda, which I already have explained. I am trying to say discriminated. I mean, this man was discriminated against. From my perspective, from my point of view, this is not how you treat a citizen in a country. You don't, in his own country, you don't subject people to this type of practices. This is criminal. From my point of view, this is not the way it works. This is a free society, and it's got to function as such. It's got to be welcoming for every person with different backgrounds from whatever they are, as a free society. That's why this is like the main thing that separates us from Belgrade, from Moscow. So I say from Ratesh, right? Ratesh, yeah. It was already a lot of talk about the Ratesh. Okay. So in a little bit they told me she met a boyfriend, and this boyfriend is 32 years old.
Ja. Ja, generator.
Niin, sit liittyy pitkin määrä, että vei tulee generaatiosta.
The daughter is younger. This is a beautiful younger daughter. I know her very well. In a little bit, I will explain why I know her very well. But I am a little bit surprised because, you know, she looks so young. She's pretty, really young, and I'm thinking a lot of things right now, without any doubts. You can feel me already that I am completely knowing who these people are. This is not a coincidence. I know exactly, like, completely standing on a solid ground about who this family is. I am getting ready at this point in time eventually to confront them in a way that would offer me ability to use this audio recording as a proof of previous, meetings, basically knowing each other from the past, from MK Ultra. Maybe I step a little bit on the wrong foot here right now. The most negative person in Skofja Loka, and it's also something that gave me a really, really negative impression about what went on over there, was exactly this employer, Habyan. And I will get to that stuff, and they're precisely happy while asking about that kind of stuff. The man, this Habyan Transport, this individual, that owner who was involved in this thing, eventually at one point in time, after the employment with him ended in 2006, and he wanted to approach again, they basically told him, the people in Skofja Loka, they told him to fuck off, to keep clear, to stay away from it. Basically, they told him, for you, in this case here, no more.
Ja. Fabiana visste
Yeah, they told, he's got trucks.
Ja.
In Skofja Loka, in this region of 25,000, as gentleman tells me, I'm not going to say that the entire 25,000 people were involved in this stuff, but boy, as you're about to see, the whole city and vicinity areas and so on, in a little bit I will explain. Yeah, what happened was in 2006 I did work for this employer for about 3 weeks. That means that I would come all together probably about 3 times to his place, park the car, board the truck, and head from his location to Austria and then Germany, deliver over there wherever it was, back and forth. Now, that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, after 3 weeks it was over.
Skofjan är ju inte så bra. Det kanske är för svårt att stå ut. Har inte bara. Det är inte en avning tror jag. Det är ju maten som tycker han har blivit här.
I tell them in Novo Mesto here in this beautiful river as we go along. I said it's going to be almost time to go for a swim. Eventually, I told them it's it's so beautiful the river right now. I tell him, and you also have a soda over there, a river over there. And he tells me, yeah, it's a soda. It's a beautiful river. It's a really beautiful river too. I don't know what he told me he was today doing exactly. I'm not sure. Maybe they were walking or something like that.
Ja, nästan.
Jo, det är liksom inte det. De är ju bara något
Redo. Det är det som man får. Och låt det knappt gå ut. Ja, det är riktigt bra. Como det finita non sto facendo il avanti. Hanno preso una porta per la club. Quando potete
I don't even know what exactly what the gentleman here was talking about because of this walk. This is going to be all submitted like I stated at the end of the video, whatever it is. I think it was something about probably they're traveling to Novo Mesto or something that far. I don't know, was he talking to me about maybe even a fuel conversion on his car that is on a gas or something like this? Maybe, I have no idea. Whatever it was, I did not understood this very well. And I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff, whatever it is. Now, since I am absolutely positive, yeah, I pictured exactly already a house from the wife. I can see the street, I can see the house, I can see the old one next to it, I can see exactly where she's from. I see the new house over there, how the two moved, built this house. I remind myself of a beautiful wife. As beautiful wife one time I was in love with. It was the year 1995 and she was, and so I was too. Now you're talking about "16 years younger than today." Skofja Loka, you see, just happens to be the first location we started. Actually, I'm so mistaken, 26 years younger than today. Skofja Loka is where everything started the first. They were trying, because look, I'm from Novo Mesto, but this entire operation in Slovenia, actually the one who handled my case entirely, completely, was Ljubljana is psychiatric hospital. And this is why this video is also so sensitive, so important, because in continuation I'm going to demonstrate to you pretty much everybody from Ljubljana Psychiatric Hospital was involved in this stuff. In 1995, you see, Ljubljana Psychiatric Hospital did not even have idea about what exactly MK Ultra is like. They did not, they did, I'm sure, from the readings and from the stuff, but have never ever come across actual case they would have to handle. I just happened to be the first one in Slovenia, the first case, MK Ultra case, that was, well, pushed right into their hands with handle it, whichever way you know. Basically, like you would take a booklet, and in this booklet would be written pretty much, this is the drug you're going to use, you're going to give this so many and so many, and you do this and this and this with him, and so on and so forth. Your job is to maybe make him remember certain stuff and so on. And that's all there was. When it all started in 1995, because few of the psychiatrists and the number one man who was like completely in love with this region, he is from, I think, Skofja Loka. He might not even be from Skofja Loka. I think he's not exactly from Skofja Loka. It could be. I already have one location. But anyways, was Mr. Vinko, and this was the guy that was like, I could say concerning MK Ultra, this man was really like my father, and very much I would say like my real father, like very much I would say it wouldn't even come to me up to today. Today I learned tremendously. Actually, yesterday I started to, this video, and I decided I'm gonna go about this one. How much this man invested effort to help me out, I would say probably more important to me is a fact I acknowledge, that he started to grow a gray hair because of me. This is just a really, how can I explain, honorable man who was, this is just a good person that basically, maybe in the best way for me to explain would be that he saw me like a part of the family, like in a sense the way they see each other in this psychiatric hospital, and I'm talking about the staff people like psychiatrists, physicians, and so on and so forth. They started to see me like part of the team, like part of them. Why would that be the case? Well, that was the case because, like I said, we started in the old portion of the city, in a center, in the real center of the Skofja Loka, and they wouldn't have an idea about how to handle this case. So to get an idea, and one of the first people who initiated that in 1997 was actually even Mrs. Andrea Jeric. She was involved earlier than what I believed, along few beautiful young people, to professionals, if you want, help professionals. The nurse that would come to visit me here, that would pay me visitations here at home. She might have been the first or maybe even the second test subject, who self-subject herself to this type of treatment, therefore to MK Ultra, so that she could learn what it exactly like feels like to be subjected to MK Ultra. Then gradually, after her and after another two young men that they just tried out this thing, they all started to try out. So I was like some kind of member of this psychiatric club. This is kind of a strange, right? But these people were in charge and helping me out in a very, very different form from what you would refer to as patients. Their idea was to create me in a self-conscious, basically a map in my head about what went on in Slovenia, or at least certain locations over time, over the course of the time, so that one day when I will return, or whatever the case might be, because I didn't believe in that. I didn't believe in that shit anyways, right? My plan was easy, simple. I hope that I would drive them eventually crazy that much. Unfortunately, that was the most primitive, but it usually works, that kind of stuff, if you do it at almost any place at any time. It just, this time it didn't work. Drive them crazy enough without creating all kinds of problems for long enough so that they would say, hey man, we really don't need this trouble, just move on, leave us alone, in that sense. But it didn't work. After realizing what exactly MK Ultra feels like and the type of the stuff that would be beneficial to me, we would move into the area of where this gentleman is eventually from. And he's about 15 minutes away from the city, away from his spouse. So I just wanted to give you a precise idea about how things were developing, in what direction, why, and how, right? In that sense, Mr. Vinko was just, how can I say, he kind of, I'm sure that was not his intention, but over the course of the time, I think that I became like his son or something like this in his head. Seriously concerned, worried, increasingly even more so, because things would not move in the right direction no matter what. Like I said, I had the plan on my own, and no matter what I would try to do, there was just no way out other than to do it, what I'm doing today, and that's basically 26 years later, folks. And so I go to the issue of the wife, and I say, your wife is from the Skofja Loka, but really from Skofja Loka, from the city, from the center of the city is what I'm trying to tell him. So this is the first shot I make in order to collect proofs that I do know them. This is the first statement that I make. Your wife is from the center of the city. She is born from there, is what I say. She is originally from there. Your wife is from Skofja Loka, but from the center of the city, I tell you. Your wife. Now he is shaking when I tell this. He's like, yeah. And he says yes. And I say, but from the city. I tell him, do you understand me? From like city center, from the city. He is from the house, if I'm not mistaken, right? He says yes. And lives close to the center. Well, this is the house that you see right there. This is the house. I already have identified everything. We did go apart later on. Now, they wouldn't give me their family name or anything like this, which is the best thing for me that happened. Even that I was actually even hoped for. I was going to go and add them at the Facebook, do something like that. Then I realized this actually is good that we went apart just like that, you know. They wouldn't give me their names, anything like this, but hey, what you see right here on the right side, eventually, this is her old home, that barn, all this property here that you see, this is the property where she is from, actually. And the home that you see right here, this is the home that she and hubby built together. Just, it was not in 2002, as I stated, but it was done, according to the husband, like in 91, right? In 91, so that we are talking about like, well, 30 something years ago. That was a big miss, but not really in a sense, because what you see up there, the terrace that is covered with a wood and all that kind of stuff, because I'm very precise about it. I explain this in continuation. I say either the house was built in 2002, 2001, or you have done actually in 2002, or you have done like a major, how would I explain this, like a major upgrade, you know, now that you would renovate one, basically. You see that roof that you see, that roof, the wood, the first one who had that kind of roof was eventually, they were my parents in the city of the Novo Mesto. Now these people I'm talking with right now, these people paid visitations to our house, and this gentleman told me the house is going to be really easy also for you to identify once you go for it, and you do know the location, and you know exactly, because I was here many times too, because I kind of imitated your father, and I did exactly that kind of stuff too on the terrace. I also covered the terrace with a wood like that. So that this is already, I already pointed out her location, correct, that she has a house, correct, and just let's go forward, because I have not made a single miss yet. I tell him this is a small city, Skofja, Loka. He tells me, well, yeah, he said, but still there's like a 25,000 inhabitants in the area. I mean, 25,000 is a lot. This isn't so small, actually. So he kind of gives me a compliment, actually. I'm right now at this point collecting my mind, collecting my thoughts together, because I'm about to go next to identify him, his location. If I would only accomplish this, and I did more than just that, then this will be absolutely my identifier. You see, I could say that she is from an apartment, that she lives somewhere else, but not in the center and so on. But now it's time also to identify him, just like I have identified her. So right now, what's going on? We are walking, and I'm like quiet, and my brain right now is just spinning. At this point, I am locating him all the way to 1995. That's about 26 years backwards, 25 years backwards into time when I was drugged up, brought from United States of America, because you see, I supposedly was not in a Europe anywhere in between 1994, end of the 1994 and May the 2006. That's about 11 and a half years of time. Yet, like I've stated, I know about almost everything that went on, construction, businesses wise and stuff, where they built and so on. And it's really thanks to Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje, for which, by the way, I really grew more respect as of this case. This really, I have to admit, it did map them on a much more positive light as far as myself. This, you see, I am honest, I rate exactly, I'm trying to understand exactly about what went on, how, this and that, and I must say this is a very, very positive case for them. This is a really, really the most positive case for them. This is the case that actually demonstrated me, like so many of these psychiatrists involved in the case, with best intentions possible. But unfortunately the political process took a very, very long term. You see, the psychiatry, and how can I say, my goals, you see, it intersects in, I'm gonna say, it works in a contrast to a life we strive toward to, in a totally opposite direction. It's a conflicting job in this kind of circumstances, which could be used as something positive or really, really negative. It all depended, and like I said, it did turn into the worst direction possible, not only for me but also for the employees at Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje. I believe nobody really enjoyed the stuff they had to do. Politics was just too deep in it.
Kijk, in ieder geval, zijn kilometers voor met het aardbei. Hier is het van met het milieu en het aardbei.
Okay, let's go to the map. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna go to the Skofja Loka, and the shot I have made, basically, to summarize this, I told him, you are not in the center of the city, right? You, from her location, okay, if you would go to her location about here somewhere, something like this. See this thing here? You're about like 1.5 kilometers away from her home. See, like when you see this here, this church here, you're about like 1.5 kilometers away from her. And if I can properly recall, you're not from the center of the city, you're from the village, and you are actually from some kind of farm, something like that. You're like a farm boy. And so if you would take the meter in your in my hands, it would be like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000, something like that. And yeah, then it would be like 1001, 1213. 14, 1500. It would not be enough still. It would not be enough. And I realized probably 1.5 kilometer. It's just, I said to myself, man, this is not gonna be enough. 1.5 kilometer. But you probably are very close to, yeah. Actually, just about, yeah, something like this. Because this would be like the place. This here is minutes, so therefore like almost like a 2 kilometers, something like this. This is where you would eventually turn toward his place. And yeah, the man is from the farm, just like I have stated. And I correct the statement from 1.5 kilometer to 15 minutes, right? I said but no, 15 minutes you are away from her location. Okay, and in a little bit I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna dedicate myself to that. How about demonstrate to you exactly what his location is. Okay, so we have a Skofja, Loka, this, that. Now the gentleman is really impressed with it. He is shocked. He is saying already something that he would go and take a camera, I don't know, take a picture of me if I can do something like this. He said that this under MK Ultra he would do, and that's what he starts to talk about. So now I have identified that he's about 15 minutes away from her, just about to say that too, and from the farm. So what else do you want when you want to go identify somebody? This is like a 100% hit. Zero miss. 100% hit, zero miss. Beautiful job.
On this one story and the good people another
Gem.
Tako?
Ali kjemo,
Ne, tam je Skofja, Loka.
tu Skofja, Loka.
Vse pa vidimo na razen tega.
Kjero, Gema?
Ja. Vaša bliža tam,
Ne.
ki ste vi, tiste, ki ste vi.
Well, we stop now, and I confront him more. I tell him,
Vi ste ven iz Skofja, Loka.
you are outside from the Skofja Loka. You are not from the Skofja Loka originally.
Ja, no, ampak originalno mi.
Sicer res je.
To verjamem, ampak
He says to me already 40 years, and you can hear him how he is laughing. Just listen to this, how he is laughing.
Sicer res je.
To verjamem, ampak to
Okay. 1995. Dear ladies and gentlemen, this is why I got so many times upset with you. She and he just happened to be one of those first people who pulled my nose under MK Ultra. Welcome to MK Ultra. That's where we play with your personal feelings. You know, it's like I've written toy. You're like a toy. Nothing in a negative sense in respect to this guy. He is laughing kind of a little bit evil. He's laughing. Okay, but what it is that I actually have fallen for his old lady. Yeah, in 95, under MK Ultra, you don't know. You have no feeling how old is. You know, the lady might not be so old, got some makeup and this, and you are completely taken over by her beauty and this and that. This one was really good looking. 26 years back in time, she pulled my nose that she's interested in me, and she flirted with me over there, and I got excited, boy. I was like, oh wow, you know, here we have a lady, and this was the first flirter, she, in Skofja, Loka. And boy, I threw myself, I was very interested, you know. And then it was this story that would probably, I stated it was about 1,500 people inside of this room from all over the world they would come. No. When I just think about how many couples were involved in this stuff, so many, eventually, including her daughter, tied hands together. They were happy to participate, to see me, because I was like some kind of a fortune cookie, some kind of a fortune either economical or people would get married. Oftentimes they got married, they met, they tied their knots. Many of them would have children and so on. And this is just a couple like this, correct? And then the dude appeared in the somewhere in the picture, along the picture. That and the worst part about this, that the ladies, they would tease you and they would tell you, like, they wouldn't even tell you, hey, I'm already married or something like that. That would be too beautiful. They would go and they would slowly take you piece by piece, and yeah, but this is already another man interested in me, and I am in between, and I am thinking between you and him, and this and that. And then all of a sudden you see this ugly dude coming on a picture, and that's it, goodbye. I don't mean that he's ugly, of course he's not, he's a good looking guy, but it was always like this. This was not once, it was not 10 times, it was not even 100 times. Man, it was hundreds of times. And sometimes, most of the time, ladies would eventually get married with a guy. They were not married yet. Most of the time they would eventually really meet guys through this case, literally. And just as I have stated, that was the case with her daughter. This is how she came with them to the Novo Mesto and met a gentleman from the Ratish. Ratish, just as I have stated, is in a very close proximity from where I am. That's about, I don't know, 6 kilometers from here, something like that. They intersected, started to talk literally through this case. And before you know, she's already staying here in Novo Mesto. Before you know, they're gonna have kids. This story repeated God knows how many times to everybody, except not to me. Not that I would know of. Even the Czech guy told me in Bohumín, in an old Bohumín in the Czech Republic, that the possibility exists, just as I already have explained that several years ago, that only God knows how many children maybe I already have, just that I don't know of. There is such a thing. It's a possibility because of all kinds of stuff that happened. Not that I would have control over. And so, there you have it.
Tu ja, ampak originalno se isto tako enih 15-minutnih kotacija stran. Je nekaj takega, ne?
So he gives me 100%. He confirms that he's about 15 minutes away, not like she, unlike her, who is in the city. He's about 15 minutes away out of the city and really from the farm, just as I have stated. Yeah. So you have 100% identified both of them. Now I want a little bit more of it. The truth is that the two are married 40 years. But the thing about it is that, you see, I already picture this home that I demonstrated, this old, like, barn that you see, and this property on the right, and I know exactly which household she's from and this and that, and I want some more. I know about this new house that he built and so on. So now the next step I'm trying to get is I'm trying to get this about the house that was built in 2002. But that he's gonna tell me, no man, this was built in 91. Oh, that I missed big time. That was like 4 years before I appeared in Skofja, Loka, ever. When brought from the United States of America. That one I did got wrong. But still, what he did not admit me is the part which I stated is about upgrade, about the balcony, about the covered balcony and stuff like that. That's the stuff that he would not admit me, but if I would ask him about that stuff, I bet he would. Man, that's his house. That's his house, basically, and her house. Now, I am also gonna demonstrate this location where it is, how the two met, and I'm gonna demonstrate his farm, where he is from, and then what I'm gonna do, let me demonstrate to you, thanks to Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje, but foremost to Mr. Vinko. I'm just gonna go ahead about and point you out the knowledge about this entire area. Now I'm not talking about the city, only this city here. We could go and we could do that stuff, but this takes time. Every one of these locations that you go through, it absorbs time. I don't like doing that kind of stuff. Today already when I went, I instead of that have chosen a few very, very tricky ones. You see these mountains here? You see these forests here? Mr. Vinko would have me all over this place. Not only on this side, but also here on this side too. All this, he would have me walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just wanted so to help me very much. And yeah, he loved this place, this region, this place. It wasn't only him, it was also a few other people from Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje that are from this region. You see, this is Gorenska region, and I would acknowledge one as a northwestern region of Slovenia. They too are from this area, you know, from like northwest of Ljubljana. And so they were motivated. Everybody wanted to promote his own place first. It was like this also in Ukraine when I was with Ukrainian people. It was everywhere you would go, or in Russia, or in Poland, or wherever you would go. Every person that was involved in it, everybody wanted to bring me to his city, to wherever he is from, so that the business people, big industrialists, they would find their way with investments, with industry, with technology, therefore would bring prosperity into you know, their homes, into their areas wherever they were from, right? So that's how we're gonna do it. But the first thing I want to do is first I want to finish this audio recording. There are about 3 minutes left, and then we're gonna go to other stuff, as I stated, for me to demonstrate you much more than just you know, knowledge about this to people. This isn't about just this beautiful family I met. This isn't about Habjan either, my previous employer here from Skofja Loka, but this is about much more. This is about entire community here from this Gorenska region. This is about the Skofja Loka, and it also concerns here Kran, everybody here, all this. God knows just how many people was involved in this, but pretty much when we are talking about this, but almost every house that you see right here on the map, basically, they all knew about it. I had MK Ultra, this is a strange thing, no idea that so many people knew about me.
Je nekaj takega, ne?
Sem sad živa.
Pa je še ena stvar. Iz Skofje Loke se gre takole v to smer, potem se zavije pa gor. V to smer.
Now I know that is uphill, this and that, but I did not point it out well. This I'm still in my head. I am not exactly now geographically. I am, but it's kind of confusing to exactly that you would go just now and say geographically where you turn and this and that. Especially because to his place there are two ways we would come. No, there is no such thing like you can turn left or right. Mostly you would exactly opposite of what I stated. I stated him you would turn right. No, actually you turn left, and this is really confusing. You know why it's confusing? It's confusing because of this thing here. If this is a Skofja Loka, and this is a Skofja Loka, and this here, this is his minutes. To him, you would turn here. But how the hell are you gonna remember this from MK Utrecht, where as well as could be also to this side? I was also all over this hills too. So now I know it's uphill, I know what it looks like, I know there are plums, they have a lot of plums, I know there's a beautiful yard with the grass. I have this old farmhouse and so on idea exactly what the hell it looks like, but you know, it's steep on this side and it's also steep on this side, and in this case this is just not the case. You turn instead left. You go from Skofja Loka, you have to turn left and go this way. Not as I projected that way, but yeah, the thing is I was on both sides. That's okay, because once I had it home, I knew immediately very much where exactly he is from. And this is yet another benefit here for me to disperse doubts about whether I know these people from the past or not. This I don't even understand what he's saying.
U to smjer, kuda.
This I don't know what the gentleman is saying.
Gremo je Skofja Loka, recimo po Skofji. V Skofja Loka je cesta, skoraj. Da se pride, pa se pol k vam, ko se gre, se zavije na desno. Je tako?
Včasih.
Kako včasih? Cesta tista
Zdaj
iz Skofja Loka se gremo.
Zdaj na en kovač morite tih mestskih gen.
Žena, ki sem že povedal, da je tam skoraj iz centra iz Skofja Loka. Ampak žena je imela mimo grede, videla sem imela, mislim, da so ti tudi dom, mislim, da so ti ga, bom rekel, ne vem, zdaj, če bi bil popolnoma na novo narejen, tako se nič reči. Ampak vsaj obnovljen, nekaj takega tam enega leta. To rekel tam enega leta 2020.
Okay, this is like a rock and roll, this thing here. Actually, you know, if you would go and if you would look at his new home he built with his wife, and everybody started, his daughter and his wife, they're both laughing at this point. They cannot believe the stuff I am talking about. It's like kind of shocking actually right now that I started to describe the way their home looks like, and I'm doing really well at this point. Now, if we go to this home here and we look at this home here, tell me now, how old is this home? What the hell this home looks like to you? Is this home looks to you like was built in 91, or does it look like more to you it was built in 2002? Well, whether you like that or not, I can get probably over 90% of the people that would say to me, it looks like this home was built in, and I don't even say this home was built in 2002. I say either was built in 2002, as it is audio recorded, either was built in 2002, or it was upgraded, you know, painted, added features, that kind of stuff in 2002. You see? Look at it. I, in fact, am 100% correct. He, however, right now is in shock. He is in shock. He's like, at this point in time, he's like, this is already kind of maybe even dangerous, because you, at this point in time, the way things are going, You can't even say to me, you can't even object to me and say no right now. Actually, what he did, well, he could have admitted this, that home was eventually upgraded, you know, that beautified, or whatever you want to say, in 2004, right? 2005. And he says this, and briefly he says 15 years ago, but then he changes the story back. No, it was built in 91. He doesn't want to give the whole thing, but he wants me to find his home and basically point one to you like this, so you can see that the roof, the wooding and stuff like this is the same as it is in our house here in Novo Mesto. And my father did the same thing on a terrace like he did this thing here. So that's why basically that's how I identify absolutely everything. Not only that the two have house, but that this house is like a newer house. Okay, so you can't go past this. I was gonna start talking about taking picture of me if I'm gonna go, I don't know, in the river or something like that, joking or whatever.
Wat is het zwart? Ja. Het is water.
He says that I mistaken myself for 15 years. I don't know what exactly he means this for 15 years, that either was built in 91 or that it was how do you say that, it's with R in Slovenia we say adaptacija or whatever, but
Tego nie wyszło. Barra tak nie robi. No tak, 2002.
Andreas.
Kako?
Isto greče 91, 92.
91, 92.
Brez zamere, ampak to je bilo. Izvolite.
Ampak
A lahko vzamem mobitel pa slikam.
He says, please do not resent me, but this is the way it is. In 91, and let me not forget my telephone to take a photo of you. And he's gonna now change if you're gonna go in the water to swim. But he told me under MK Ultra that if you can do what I just did right now, that he would say something like that, because this is like congratulations, man.
Pomodalno jutro preko unke je zanj skopalka vrta.
He says we're gonna put you to the YouTube just like the guy who was, I don't know, doing what in his wardrobe, swimming wardrobe or whatever, in that sense, joking. Okay, we have a fun. I tell him now you can actually go and swim in a Krka river, it's fun. I did swim the whole winter long. It's nothing so terrible, you can do that. He says, when? Now? He says, yeah, I did swim the winter time. We can do that. This is not so terrible. So we had fun, everybody was laughing, and I just did this damn and well. This portion of the video, therefore, it's gonna complete for me as far as obtaining more proofs about MK Ultra. Okay, I do want to thank to this family very much. Let me just finish this recording. I want to thank, I tell them, family, thank you very much to you. I don't know what your last name is again. The idea was to add them on the Facebook, but this isn't exactly that best idea. This is political stuff I do. these people already have had problems because of this case. These people already came like under microscope. For all the witnesses, for all the people who participated in MK Ultra, let me explain to you something. Not like this. There's a whole freaking big file of the people, dots that would come, and which I would have a chance to identify, whether I would identify. Trust me, nobody was like this that I would not identify it. Sometimes I didn't feel even like I want to identify. It's all kinds of stuff, and maybe it's the knowledge I'm going to even share with the people how to overcome this, but it's all kinds of stuff that I have considered, saw the case from different angles and so on. Yeah, even for the people that you would give them a complete background and they wouldn't go through anything, they would still have a tremendous difficulty to understand this whole thing, even if you would explain them. And really, nobody during MK Ultra gave me idea of any kind about what this thing is going to be about and how this thing is going to work. So that's that. Now, if I summarize, finish this completely, we go apart.
Janko.
My name is Boštjan Alsic, as you know. They tell me their names, first names only, but no last name whatsoever. And promise me to come back to Novo Mesto, where I definitely welcome them. This is a really, really beautiful, beautiful family, as beautiful as it gets family. So, I'm gonna move myself away and I'll take you through the area a little bit so you get an idea. A broader knowledge about, basically about this Skofja Loka. First,
Okay.
Pa boste kar tole, hvala lepo vam. Lep dan želim.
we go apart, just a beautiful family. I do want to thank you very much for this. Very, very much, in fact. Yesterday, imagine, for the third time, I forgot to click resume button after applying pause button. And so this one really took a good bite of me, but you know, for all the good reasons, always. Here. Let's go immediately to this house, and I will correct now completely the owner of this house. Because I think probably over the course of the time, he had probably forgotten about his own house. So I'm gonna make it up for yesterday immediately. That's basically if a Google Maps is gonna give me a chance to use it. There you go. Boom. I'm back. Okay, I have not seen any of this yet. I have not seen any of this yet. Okay, let's go and let's do this thing again like this. I really have not seen any of this yet. The house. Okay, let me correct you, the owner of this house, sir. With your permission, it's like this. You have incorporated what you see here in the back. You see this building in the back here? He incorporated a portion of this thing here into the house. Maybe it is actually this line here that you see even significating something like this. I'm going to be completely specific on the construction of this house. Yeah, this is what happens when I go sleep and then I wake up and then I start to wish for more. This pillars here, this balcony here that you see here, ladies and gentlemen, This is the stuff he added. He started to edit slowly. He wouldn't admit that kind of stuff, and now he probably misunderstood me. Even in Slovenian language, there's no such word. There's no such word like rebuilt and remodeled. These are in English language two different words, but in Slovenian we don't actually have. One is adaptacija in druga je potem ena je obnova, adaptacija, druga pa je potem novogradnja oziroma lahko je tudi obnova. V bistvu it's like this. He started to build this, wow, he started to build this balcony, how about this, sometimes like in 2001, 2002, 2003. It took him like 3 years. It was like really, really slow, at least 2 years before he completed this balcony alone. Without what you see up there is this thing here. This is what he chose as the last thing to do, this thing, to add these features, these weird features that you see right here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what did Google meant with that dark picture that you have seen, that black picture. To me, it looks all sunny today. I made a big mistake pausing that thing, but it did happen for all the good reasons. So the owner now, he did not forget. He just wanted me to remind myself so I would have more proofs about it. Don't worry about it. This guy loves me. He wouldn't lie. He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do that. He just wanted me to be so technical, so brutally technical like this. And so that you know that I have a really, really deep knowledge about this stuff. This is not a play. This is not a game. This is a serious stuff. And as you see, I do remember. He did completed this with a wooden portion of this balcony. After he added the balcony with those pillars that you see. Sometimes I believe really, sometimes I estimate, sometimes like in 2004, 2005, something like this I would say. Okay, so now since I have done such an outstanding job, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you, let me demonstrate to you what else exactly do I know about the Skofja Loka. And really, everything I know about the Skofja Loka and surrounding area is thanks to Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje. So let's go on this excursion now, and so you'll be the judge whether I do know what I'm talking about or I'm some kind of bluff or something like that. Let's go. Therefore, if this is where his wife is from, the kids from entire area, you know, not only from Zminec, not only from this place here, but from this entire area of Skofja Loka. It could be also Žabnica and Skofja Loka alone, or Železnikov, whatever it was. They would look for their future spouses, partners, whatever you want to say, on different occasions. For these kids from this area here, from Zminec, from Bodolje and stuff, the thing to meet some girls was just as he explained to me how it all happened. It was around here in this Fužinska ulica right here. This was like a center locations. They would come to meet with one another, go around here, this romantic whatever It kind of looks, and that's basically how they would get to know one another. Now what's really interesting is, before I go about general knowledge that I have in addition to what I have demonstrated about the family to you right now, it would be the most important for me to just go to his location where he would be, where his farm, where basically the place where he would be from, right? You know, just as I have pointed 15 minutes away from her, this is direction of the Skofja Loka. If you would come from the city, and then you would go to his farm, to the place where he is from, and I am pretty damn sure I would not actually even go and waste my time. You know, I'm gonna say absolutely any stuff. Yeah, they brainwash me due to this political garbage with all kinds of stuff, that he's over there. All kinds of stuff you only possibly you can imagine. I mean, just completely unimaginable stuff, hey. Okay. Then that he is here in this is actually very dangerous theory, this one here, because this in the background, eventually that one offers a trees here, and I cannot reach out beyond Google. It would not allow me to go inside here and roam this area in the back here. So that's why that's dangerous, but not really, because I remember, even you might be really surprised, thanks to this girl here that you see. Yeah, this girl here that you see, this beautiful girl is from one of these homes here, like maybe 2 homes inside here you would go. She's from this area right here. She's a native here. She's here since from forever. I wish her so much the best that you have no idea. There's nothing I wouldn't do for the people like this. She was eventually even interested in me at one point in time. It's about my age, probably 45, between 45 and 50. She's got a brothers, and that's the kind of stuff that actually moved me. This is from, like, I'm not gonna say poor family, but with not such a wealthy background as many, but really the best soul one can possibly find. I remember you very well. That's the kind of stuff that actually touches me. Somebody that came in my face and was a little girl of some kind of daddy that was I don't know who, and just because like that, and or my daddy is such and such, that's like the lowest, the worst that possibly could step in front of me. This is his place, and I know so because of these beautiful trees in a big way. I know so because of this here, if I step a little bit like this, because of this hill here, and then it tops with this one here, with this house here, the old house, and even the newer house, which his brother built. He also sold portion of his property to the brother, but I think he still have some piece of land, something here. This here, these are, I think in English you say plums. In Slovenian these are češplje, but they are original. They are just universal to the hilly areas, to the areas that are not so much. This hospital right here, many of them are from Gorenska region. of them are from Gorenska region. My view on this hospital now, it's kinder. Okay, I through this video, I managed to heal myself tremendously a lot because I really started to understand more about exactly what went on. Because some psychiatrists acted really idiotic. I have to tell you like that. Some of them acted like really, really idiotic. But I wouldn't concentrate on those. Or maybe in certain times acted idiotic. Maybe out of revenge, maybe out of whatever frustration, whatever the case might have been. Well, others did definitely make it up for it. With good deeds. And when it comes to good deeds, there is this man Vinko, yeah, who was employed. He's not a psychiatrist, but he has like a university degree, works along the psychiatrist, and so it's a guy that was used like some kind of individual that would help with assignments, like work assignments, something that would get patients, people that were admitted to the psychiatry, entertain, so that he would employ them somehow, their time also with some activities, something like that. So he was like a guy that was kind of in charge for releasing trauma, you know, in people that they would maybe experience because of this location itself. This is not exactly a place with some from the past, some kind of good reputation, and this was actually very, very hospital with a very, very bad reputation. During Yugoslavia, this hospital, the only thing you could do is you could really, really not want to come in here, because if you did come in here, that probably meant that you are dead. I mean, this place here, I don't mean to scare anybody really, at Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana, but for your knowledge, the people here at this place, they would burn their brain, literally. It was ECT, it was all kinds of stuff that went on before this place went inside of the European Union. During Yugoslavia, the only thing you could do is you could pray that you would not get in here, because if you got in here, you were in a real trouble. Real trouble. So this does have roots in this, how can I say, it does have roots in this element already from the past. Psychiatric University, they call it, hospital, Ljubljana Polje. Now, what this man Vinko did for me is just something incredible. Because of what this guy did, Vinko, it made me feel like, just by going over this stuff, that it was like I had actually a father during MK Ultra, and I mean it. He was like not my biological father, but someone else out there that, well, when he would come, he loved nothing more in this world than this Gorenska region. And that's, like I said, the business in '95, he and many other his associates of Gorenska, they wanted bring this business people as much as possible to this Skofja Loka, to this area. Kran, Skofja Loka, they pressured with this kind of issues. As much as he loved the Skofja Loka, when he came here to Novo Mesto and Dolenska, which is on the opposite side now, he would go for a fishing trip with my father, and I was along. He had me along inside of the boat and fishing. drugged up, but still, I had my say, no matter what. I told him, now, Vinko, you see, I told him, see how much more beautiful is Dolenska than Gorenska. You know, Gorenska is very beautiful, but for me, the water was always just a magnet. And he was thinking about, he was really, really pleased, but I already knew about this stuff that he hated the water. He started to hate the water. He loved the water. He loved the water, but he started to hate the water because of me. And that's why I say that I know that his hair was growing gray because of me. He would be really like pulling his hair out. Didn't know how to help me out. It was very, very tough for him. And when this fishing was finished, as much as he enjoyed fishing and everything, and I could observe him that he was becoming more and more miserable inside of this boat. And when this thing was finished, it was like I got a feeling that he never want to go inside of the boat anymore. This is how serious he took this case. Now, why he saw me as his child in a way. The reason for that matter is that, let me demonstrate to you this. This is the center of the city here, that you see here, Skofja, Loka. That's where his wife is from, and this is the old part of the city here. It's quite a considerable side of the city, 25,000 people. Like the gentleman stated, with the area, surrounding area, right? This here is this Kidrichova cesta. You see, this is Kidrichova, and then you have this here. We're gonna come here, and I'm gonna zoom myself inside, go like this. And we're gonna go here, here. And in year 1995, I can tell you about Vinko. In 95. In 95, Vinko was like, oh, you have to remember this. You understand this, you have to remember this. And this. And you have to remember 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 this. Oh, do you remember that? 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 This is the way it was. Okay. Meaning that these people, they didn't have much shit idea, is what I'm trying to say about MK Ultra. And this is true. I was just their child in respect to MK Ultra. I was thrown on the picture to them. When I say their child, in a little bit you will understand. Thrown on the picture, and like they say, jebiga stvoriga, make it happen, if translated in English. Here is a little booklet to you. This kind of drugs, you're going to use this kind of drugs. He need to learn about this stuff, that stuff, and so on and so forth. And here it is. Goodbye. I know this is a psychiatric hospital. I know these are health professionals, but they didn't have this yet. And because they didn't have this shit yet, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. The first one, actually the second one, if not maybe even the first one that subjected herself to this, and I did not have any kind of clue that she was already involved. And you're talking about year 97, 98, that self-exposed herself. This is when she started to participate, in 98, I think, to this kind of stuff, You know who it was? It was Mrs. Jeric, Andrea Jeric, the nurse, that would come to visit me here at home with her colleague who also was involved in MK Ultra. And then she also became a nurse here and there I would see in Ljubljana Polje. And funny enough, I was really miserable when I would see her. Okay? It's this street. That precisely stuff I'm talking about. It's like she would be talking to you right now. There is certain changes they have done here, right here. You would turn here like this, and next to this building, you know, they wanted me to learn about some kind of, I don't know, remodelation they did in here, this and that, whatever they did. And so they could understand me, my point of view, basically the stuff that I see. For the first time that anybody would go and subjected himself in Slovenia or herself in Slovenia to MK Ultra voluntarily, like a guinea pig, let's say. It's happened when Andrea, for whom I have expressed tremendous interest due to her beauty, really is a very beautiful woman, subjected herself to MK Ultra. And there was some other younger colleague that was also fanatical about this stuff, and he went into it. He was very enthusiastic. He would also come along Andrea. He's from Celje, actually, this guy. And that's how it all started. That's when they got an idea what it feels like to be under MK Ultra. And when I mentioned earlier to you child issues, okay, let's clear that one away. Vinko was a real magnet for the ladies. Vinko was someone that all the ladies from the psychiatric hospital, and I kind of started to learn, I wanted to know what his secret was, because all the beautiful ladies from the psychiatric hospital, like this one here, like let's say this one here, all through, I don't know what I told her, whatever. There were so many beautiful women involved in this stuff that this is like, please excuse me, if you have a child, and if you don't have one, that's okay, because you were a child at one point. If your mom brought you to the candy store, to the, let's say, to some bakery shop, and she told you, which candy would you like? When you were like really small, would you like that one? Or would you like that one? Or would you like that one? Well, you as a child, you weren't like, I want that one, and I want that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, I want all of them. They did actually this shit to me sometimes in Ukraine. This stuff involved, they did, and there is still this bakery shop they have, and when they saw me coming inside, they were laughing their ass off. Because it was like, and the same thing was with these girls, you know? Which one? Which one? There's so many women in the picture. You're talking about more than 1,000, probably more than 1,000 beautiful women that teased me during the course of MK Ultra, of which some were deadly serious, wanted the relationship with me. But for the most part, they were teasing me. Well, which one do you want? Okay, as a child as you are, you know, you want the most beautiful, and there are so many. And the thing about it is that as a male, a normal male, when they start telling you about like bringing you from United States of America to Slovenia, this is like, excuse me, Eastern Europe even, all over the Eastern Europe, and Russia, and Poland, and in Ukraine, and in Serbia and stuff. It's like, really was insane. And they're telling you like to remember how this building was built, how that building was built, when this business was open, when what was added to that business when. Well, acting stupid might be like the best option that you possibly could use to escape from the picture. I mean, after all, if you drive them crazy enough, like completely crazy, like that there's like a war. Did you create some kind of war? I'm sure they're gonna fucking let you go, right? Because they don't want to come back on a picture with you anymore either. It becomes dangerous for them to bring you back. I did create this kind of element. That's a good tactic. But for that kind of tactic, you got to have a reason, man. If the freedom is not a good reason enough, I don't know what it is. I myself was certain. They were telling me that we are not sure if you're normal because you don't remember things. You know, if you don't remember things. By the way, remembering is never good under MK Ultra. When they ask you what you remember, fuck that. Don't worry about it. You will remember when the time comes if you have to. Don't worry. Don't even worry about it. Fuck that. And remember, the less you're gonna remember, the better you're gonna be off if you ever find yourself in my situation. Because that other side, the Belgrade, the Moscow, when they would find out what I remember, identically, just like Americans did, just like Polacks did, like everybody else that wanted me to remember stuff, they were using the same techniques to find out what I remember, and they injected lies in it, used the electroshocks, repeated the sessions with completely distorted stories, with idea to foremost disrupt me, a mental process to the point that the fear would overwhelm me, and I would simply quit alone from the case because I would get like negative feedbacks from the people involved in MK Ultra. So remembering is never a good thing to do. Better to act stupid and remember fucking nothing than to remember and get completely fucked. That's one thing, because you don't know if they're not imitating this American or who the guy is talking to you in English, if he really is an American or not. And there were also Russians that were born in the US and they would engage in that kind of stuff. It was also stuff like that. The theory that American psychologist who was really helpful, Rex, you know, I took downstairs. He actually left me a pair of jeans, like a supersized pair of jeans, so that it would remind of his name, Rex. Otherwise, his real name, that's a Daniel Smith, just as I've explained already and demonstrated on my blog. One time he came in and there was another psychologist from, I think he was from Oklahoma, and he was just snapping me inside of the vehicle as we were driving in Lodge. He would just snap at me. He would go, "Hey, I know what you're doing. You are, you work with Trump. You work with Trump, and the two of you try to drive me crazy. You two try to drive me crazy. You try to. I'm gonna kill you. What you did to me, and this and that." Okay, I had my own conspiracy theory about this whole shit. Yeah. You're gonna tell me what I remember, what I don't remember, if I'm crazy already or I'm not crazy? Well, why? I didn't say this to anybody, but I said to myself, why are you bringing me to Europe? Why are you bringing me to Europe from the US and talking to me about, fucking houses, old houses, about how you remodeled? Fuck that. Do you hear me what I'm saying? Remodeled the fucking house. Remodeled. Do it. Not even build one up from the ground. Or I'm gonna say not even rebuild from zero up. But you're fucking talking to me about remodel the fucking house and open the certain business and open other business, and in everywhere, in Croatia also. There's a set of factories also that I know in Zagreb and stuff, and in Serbia, and in Bosnia, and in all over the Europe, in Belarus, and in Russia, and in Poland, and in Slovenia, and so on and so forth. What the fuck? I came to conclusion that you are fucking trying to drive me fucking insane. So if you're trying to fucking drive me insane, then I must adapt that kind of guerrilla option and drive absolutely everybody insane. Of course, except the beautiful women that like me. But that's exactly how the brain works, because the central system of brain, of rational thinking, becomes in a normal male a penis. You would be right now probably in shock for what I stated to you, but certainly the cars, the watches, the beautiful females are more interesting, you have to admit, to the every normal male than walls. Not only houses, but trees and asphalts and stuff like this. You got to admit that if you're normal, the woman is more interesting, her physical beauty is more interesting. Now, go find yourself, like I did with the Vinko, who knew very little about how I feel probably. He got an idea about now how to run this MK Ultra. This in Ljubljana Psychiatric Hospital, they got an idea how to run this whole fucking thing. They've learned what MK Ultra is, in other words. But they still didn't know that other side. That's basically the side when you are in this kind of situation. When very little, nothing did they know about what they have done to me in Belgrade in 96. In 95 actually. When they brought me straight into the nest of Chetniks who wanted me dead. Rožnjatović, you know Rožnjatović, Željko Rožnjatović. His wife can tell a lot about me. He was involved in this MK Ultra case all the way to until his death, when he was killed. He too was involved in this stuff. Rožnjatović. Šešelj. Karadzic was my personal case manager. This is like from Hitler, let's say Heimlich Hitler, or somebody like this who was in charge for the extermination of Jews. Something like this. He killed, caused them genocide over there, all over the Bosnia against the Croats and Bosnian people and so on. You understand my point of view? No, I'm not saying the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana was the one that knew all this stuff and they were responsible for it. But I think that even up to today, they probably didn't know why I employed those guerrilla partisan tactics. When I would do just about that kind of shit that, just as in this case was, you would literally have farmers coming in Vinko's face. Vinko was like a good spirit, because nobody liked this place so much like Vinko. Vinko loved these people to death so much, Slovenia. Vinko is also the guy that was like from like exemplary guy, let's say, from the national, I'm going to say from the National Resistance Front or something like that, which badge I have right there. But the shit I did was so outstanding that at one point in time you would have these people almost, they didn't know anymore what the fuck went on. Was this guy therefore like really some kind of Nazi that was just going around and was just getting ready to you know, bring the Germans inside or do something like this? What the fuck went on? And having him always next to me, having even sometimes the Serbian people next to me, nobody knew anymore what the fuck went on. What is going on here? People were fucking traumatized. They were traumatized. They did not know anymore what the hell goes on. This psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Polje, they gained completely another reputation. If that one was bad in Yugoslavia, this one in new Slovenian state did not look good at all. Maybe this one looked even crazier. And so it did happen to him that one time Vic would come to me, and it was this farmer that was pissed off. In these minutes, he was right where that girl is, he was like, his head was like this. It was like this, like he was gonna explode, that he was really gonna do something to him, to Vinko. Vinko faced another peasants' revolt. He was death threatened and stuff like that. And then he would come to me, and his head was also like this. You know, whatever. And then he would go to these hills and tick, go back and forth in these hills. And in the evening he would come, and I guess it would be okay, you know. And this was not the isolated bad trip for him. Sometimes this is the way it was. And as much as he was so worried about me and always was taking me next to him, he was losing sanity in those hills, having me with him, because whenever he would take me, I was sure enough try to cook some shit somewhere along the road. The only interest to me was some good-looking lady, and that was even worse, because the thing about it is that those ladies, keep in mind, oftentimes, most often, I estimate probably about 70% of the time, they tease me. They already either had their boyfriends or husbands, and they would come on a picture and tease me. Now, when I realized that every time, that added actually fuel to me. That actually gave me extra fuel, and I was like, wow, okay, you got me again. In the final stages of psychiatry, that's when I became really obnoxious. That's when I would get into the picture, and if it was not like almost like everything according to me, I would already start to give the compliments, like in a big minus, like in a really negative sense, just to everybody. I would just go. I wouldn't care about anything. Oh, we're gonna kill you, this and that, like this. Next one. The death threats. Who cares about that? The death threats, they were always. They death threatened. It was always a death threat after death threat after death threat. But in Serbia, that was psychotic. That was different. That one I didn't even want to go into it no more. It was bad here already in Slovenia, but down there that was just something that did not make sense. Man, they would take you literally to not too far from here, Krka Pharmaceutical Company. They have a castle here called Struga. That's basically where we met. And they had, like, behind the castle, they have like a place where they would go, they would grow vegetables. This original castle owner, whoever this was, this guy, it was cement built, whatever, this thing, and it looked like graves and stuff like that. It would be in the forest, that's where we're gonna kill you, and here also, that's where we're gonna kill you. Underneath of this castle, they have like bars with iron, gated bars, windows and stuff like this. They would get me inside in there, in that old castle. That's where we're gonna kill you, and nobody will ever find out and shit like that. It was plenty of the stuff like this. It was just maybe one location, maybe, I don't know, 6 kilometers from here, and another one here, maybe only 3 kilometers, and 2 kilometers from here, and this. It was shit like this that would go everywhere all the time. It would go like this all the time. And so, we're gonna kill you. It was like all the time. Kill you. We're gonna kill you. Okay. Let's go back to this kind of stuff. I just wanted you to understand what exactly I meant, which I have not finished completely yet, about the child. Vinko, the magnet for these beautiful ladies that you see here, was a magnet because he was so friendly, not because he would be something I had in my head. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. I was really interested also in her at one point in time, and she was interested in me, and then she wasn't sure anymore. She did a really smart thing that was basically to step aside. This one here I just didn't like. It didn't appeal to me, but would not understand, and so on and so forth. All of this psychiatrists in Ljubljana Polje, all of them, for the most part, almost all of them were involved in this case. This man was involved in it, just like this lady here. He didn't know anymore what the hell he was dealing with. Smart enough, he would step aside, basically almost kind of ran away and watch from the side before something really bad could even happen to him. His name is Loka. And also made sure that I would say something really stupid to him, which I did, I think. I don't know what the hell I did, where I sent him, whatever. But at that time and point, I lost another ally, whatever. Smart thing for him, because I was a wreck. If you were really smart, you would just not want to be around me, because this stuff was becoming so political that God help you. All right. These are just some of the people that you see here were involved in this stuff here. This lady here, she opened her own clinic for psychiatry, whatever, consultations and stuff like this in Ljubljana. She was involved from the stage 1 of this case. All this stuff happened because of Mr. Vinko. Mr. Vinko was like a magnet. Going through what these people have gone through, seeing what I have seen, especially here in Skofja, Loka, with my own eyes, basically seeing how these people, after work, they would come and oftentimes participate in this, socialize with me, with Vinko next, and I was next to them and stuff like this, and Vinko was just trying to get them to help me out, to help this guy out, That of course, they make things completely impossible, and to the point where it didn't matter how much you loved me, if you would be willing to help me out, you would eventually risk your head. It was like this. At one point, Mr. Vinko told me, listen, he said, from this point on, I will say nothing anymore. I am just gonna step aside and watch and do like this, because it was like this. I have to tell exactly the way things were. He explained to me that this type of work, and I explained to you that this type of work requires a trust with one another, and that's why a man is a child. It requires an astronomical amount of trust. If I ask you a question based on what you have heard from me, would you go voluntarily and subject yourself to MK Ultra practice so that they would get experience of what it is like, and you will get an experience about what it is like? When you know now that it's the kind of stuff that can happen to you, that it's unimaginable. That anything can happen to you. You can get raped, you can find yourself in another side of the world, you can find yourself in a basement somewhere, that threatened, you can have actually a beautiful experience. You have no idea what can happen to you. Would you go and do this? Well, exactly. To work in a profession, in a health profession field, as a psychiatrist, a psychologist, as a highly qualified nurse or something like this, you have to accomplish that degree of trust from your colleagues, because you are the only one in you are part of this element that they count on literally with their own lives. They place their lives basically in your hands. This is the type of profession, I hope I did explain well, we are talking about. Okay, now I did, and I think I did explain this really well. Let's go and let me demonstrate to you what Vinko somehow managed to bit in my head, okay? She opened this here. This was like her, I think, like a second house. Yeah, she had some other house and then she bought this house. It was something like this. Sometimes I think that she started with this thing here like in 2001. That's her name here. Something like that, I think, like in 2000, and she disappeared off the picture completely, like this, like a private stuff that she opened. She disappeared from the picture like completely sometimes in Vinko told me that you're not gonna see her anymore. You're not gonna see her anymore. He said this to me right here, I think in Skofja, Loka. You're not gonna see her anymore. He probably said sometimes really early, like in 2002, something like this, 2002, 2003, and he told me that she started with this stuff. You know, so yeah. If you would ask me questions about her homes and stuff like that, you better believe it. All kinds of stuff would come to memory, basically. So this is what this is. No. Okay, talking about the psychiatrists, I'm just gonna put it this way. You see this girl here, lady. Okay, excuse me. Most of these people here, many of which they're not even listed here, participated in this stuff. What's really, really interesting, and what I was eventually even impressed with, this is Dr. Schwab from Novo Mesto. She was also back and forth. Sometimes she worked here, sometimes in Ljubljana. I don't know what the deal was. One of the first psychiatrists along Cveto Gradišar, Zoran Muja, and the other psychiatrist, Kaps from Novo Mesto too. She participated in MK This one here was very important. This one actually have fallen for me, and I am going to be completely honest that if it was not for the circumstances like this, you know, this is why you ladies, you should never ever fall for this kind of stuff. You know, you should never ever fall for any sort of Ljubljana Polje. This is the man who, however, was not the first one. He was not the first one, but he became director of the psychiatric hospital in Ljubljana Polje through this case. He got his stuff in Britain going for him because of this case. They opened stuff for him, so that if he would ever have to come up, he would have some like international recognized background and stuff like that. And so that's how he went to Britain to study, and I already did spoke to him. Thanks to him, I did manage to identify another location in Ljubljana, you know. And regardless of how much these people loved you, they couldn't help you. This was such a dangerous situation. This situation became so dangerous for them alone. By the way, this place here, this was one of the few places that publicly would still somehow tolerate me. This is where Donald Trump would come already in '95. We would stay here. And he would keep coming back here because this was a positive atmosphere. He said it's always cool here. This place is always like cool. If it's a hot summer day, just here in this place, when you just being outside, it's always nice and cool. And it's probably because of the air conditioning like stream little rivulet that goes along this road here. He tolerated me not because probably he would like me, but just because of the atmosphere alone. He knew very well that to get people with the money, with the deep pockets inside in here, he just needed to be like kind of a slick about it, nice with me. The truth, however, is this is the house that didn't like me very much. A little forward there is another one that really threatened with all kinds of stuff, and I'm not taking this stuff personally. I'm really not taking personally. And then you have here another barrage of house that they would just bring me and shame me, whatever. And across here there's another house somewhere here like this that it was like, well, I could almost, when I was here at this restaurant, I could almost hear this guy yelling, screaming and threatening to me and stuff like that. This is the way it was, you know. He just knew that he had to be nice, kind, so that these people, they would still, you know. I'm gonna pass, and on my way back I'm gonna stop here and give a background about that stuff, because I'm hurrying with another issue related to Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana, Polje, entire hospital. He just knew that he had to be really nice so that I would have these good vibes about this place going, and that would not prevent other guests with the deep pockets from coming back here. Because yeah, I was like this, that I would not, and they would listen to me. Well, if I would say that I don't like certain place, we wouldn't be back there no more. And they would drive me in Mercedes in the back seat. I was the one who seated next to Trump, next to people like this, which did me really nothing good. A lot of problems, yes. It left me with the biggest bill ever a human faced. This was the first house that I would stay in. This house right here, this house here. Now it looks new to you, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like it was built maybe? If you go here, if you see this houses here, does look like new, doesn't it? That house looks like the most modern house. This is not the truth. This is old house. And it could be very well that this house here is related, I'm gonna say, either directly, it could be maybe, I don't know, maybe even son-in-law, maybe something like this, to one of these health professionals that Mr. Vinko managed to somehow get in the picture. He was so nice that many of these ladies would come on a walks with him, and it was just a guy that was like your friend, that you could just go and trust your problems and he would help you out no matter. He just wanted to help everybody out. This was his life, was the family he had. I felt just by creating this video, I learned tremendously a lot about the Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana, Polje, you know. Okay, the only thing that happened to this house here, the owners might eventually even be from Croatia, not Serbian, but from Croatia, the husband. I think, that married a Slovenian girl, something in that sense. I am not sure, but he said to me, "Yes, I was not nice. I was not nice." He said to me, "You are never ever gonna make it through here." He purchased this house sometimes, I think like in 2004, something like that. Maybe 2003, something like this. "You will never ever figure out," he said to me, "do you understand, when you're gonna come here, you are never ever, you're gonna think it's a new house, you understand?" When I came here, really, the roof is new, that kind of stuff, he did outstanding job. The house itself looked like one of completely different models of all those houses. But I did recall to remind myself that this garage is what was added, and on top of this garage, let me see something. Yeah, this balcony here with this glass thing here also was added. It was painted in a different color. That's another thing. And you see, it's all painted white. This so beautiful with the new windows, with the new doors installed, more modern looking. You know, therefore, I'm gonna say really well renovated. And with this balcony, oh, this is a funny thing. No, it's not added. It's nothing. It's original, just as it always was. It's just like really outstanding job that would really make an impression to you as this, you know, sort of new here. Now, a psychiatrist figure out this is the problem was they knew that I'm not crazy. That this is actually the most beautiful location, this one here in this entire, all the next to all the settlements in this whole area. This was the location I too loved the most, because this house goes right along the stream. There is a little river stream that goes by here, and it's like really magical when you go inside of this forest and you go and you start the walk and you start the walk in such a beautiful kind of magical place. This was the street where we would stay here first. These houses did go through some remodelations and stuff like this, but make no mistake, these are all old houses. Nothing here, it's original just the way it was. Nothing much goes on. They did try to confuse me big time, and even the problem is here to the certain degree that it cannot be disregarded. There was a new housing they started to develop. There was a new housing they started to develop. Shit. Solid 100 was blowing. And equivalent to that, I feel too, like this. Not good. And so that's a radiation meter. This here, this is a new house that you see here. This is the house that came to life. This is not remodeled or anything like this. This is a completely new house they built here. I cannot go here. I cannot go. It does not allow me to go up there and see it from up close, but I think that's actually really a new house. And a new house, when I say a new house, this house, I can recall that this house already came on a picture. If I would go into this stuff, yeah, I would say like 2003, even earlier, you know, like 2002, something like this. This house came on a picture, you know, like 2003. I'm gonna give one, something like that. Way earlier than this was this here. This was. And there was like an old house here, and I am not sure whether they completely rebuilt, remodeled this house, or they just erected totally new structure instead of this old one. But that one was like the first one that would be already sometimes when you would turn the clock, it would probably show the year I would say probably the clock would turn back even to the year like 2000 when it comes to this. This was like one of the first, yeah. So I'm gonna give that one like 2000 right there. Boom, boom. I never forgot about this girl, and I never will forget about this girl. Alright, let's see what exactly do I remember. If I was gonna go in here in these streets, I can do a total MK Ultra on what was built, when, this and that. You don't escape nothing to me. You don't escape, nothing escapes to me. This is the house I was talking to you about. There is no escape from me. This here, this, it looks like new construction or something like this. Hell no. This goes back just as you see it right now. Man, this goes back to, you know what? This goes back to the year 2000, or maybe even 1999. This is how far this thing goes back. This is how far this thing goes back. It's just the way it was. It's still in the shape as it was. Spider. Spider. Even left here to remind me of it. Spider, in a way, symbolizes the ability to recall events, because this is the way it works. You open like this. It's not the way I should have been doing this kind of stuff, but you open like this one window, and it's another one that opens, and then another one, and another one, and closer, the more of these windows that you open, the closer you are to the truth. It's like you would assemble pieces of some kind of structure that you would call true, and that would then lead you systematically, if you are capable, to overcome not only fears but all sorts of anxieties they create, because so much threat that I received under MK Ultra. This is where you would go to a location, as I explained a little earlier, or this way you would continue. No, this I did demonstrate it to you earlier. And all this here that you see here, all this stuff here, I walked back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with Mr. Vinko, until he would really get tired of me, dragging me around, because of course, because the problems I got him into. There is something here, but I am not sure. Supposed to be maybe. It's no. I will try to pull something else here. So I can pull something more here. Quite funny, huh? That you would, in this remote places here, that you would go like this, and that you could do stuff like this. It's quite a deal. Oh, this is the home that was like really beautiful people here. This I like it very much. The people here, that they would not live to a city, they would not abandon their land, their homes of their parents, no matter what. They said to me always, it's just so beautiful here. We cannot go from here no matter what. This young couple, I remember the man, he insisted, and he rebuilt the old house. I told him, why don't you just go away from here, man? Economically, you will never make it with this. Is gonna be. He told me how expensive it is because you have to. It's very costly to transport the material here. Even he bragged about that kind of stuff. But they got him a job. And the first house, he remodeled, upgraded. Was the house of his parents, and he did a really beautiful job. And at my surprise, he completed this already sometimes. Really, at my surprise, so like sometimes like in 2002, something like this. I was quite, wow, surprised that, these people are so hardworking. I mean, you got to admire them. And it looks like that he opened his own business or something like this. Life was good to him. Next to that one, he built a brand new home. When the hell was this home built? I don't know. Probably in 2008 or something like that. This is not really appearing in my MK Ultra memory as something early or something 2006, 2008, something like this. This was not completed so early. So that's that basically. Let's get out of this mountain here. Now, I took you quite up here. I mean, in this case, let's see this stuff here that I demonstrate you. I took you to these hills here right now. I took you all the way up here. It's, I think, this one here. He got a tourist place now. So you see, I took you all over the hills away from, let me see, this. Yeah. Eventually that I did. Yeah, this is the place. Yeah, you got to admit, this is really, really beautiful. This is really beautiful. We would come here. Why we would come here to this place? Because there's a road here behind it. You go like this, you go past this house, and you continue on a road like this, and it goes on. That's why. Kind of strange, right? You would already think it's like the end of it. No, it's not. You go on. Like, just like that. Just like this, you go. Maybe I should just continue this way. Well, you got to admit, if somebody brings you from United States of America and you find yourself doing this kind of stuff, that you too would think that person is trying to drive you insane. Imagine that you are 23, 24, 25 years old, and you have the people from psychiatric hospital involved in it, and it's death threats and all kinds of stuff involved in this stuff. Admit that regardless of how normal, that the only way, if you were normal, it would be basically for you to come to conclusion that they are trying to drive you crazy, that they are trying to destroy you. Admit. If you would say to me right now, no, they tried to help me out, I would say that you, my friend, whoever would say that, I would say that you are mentally ill. I would absolutely acknowledge you as a mentally ill. If you would say to me, this is the road that goes to somewhere else, which also, I have a friends here also. I can't go in there. It wouldn't allow me. The Google would not allow me. there is a farm over there too. Okay, here there is not much more to see. This is gonna bring me out, and yeah, but this is how far I took you right now. If you look at this stuff, all this stuff I walked back and forth. Yes, indeed. This is all the stuff I know. This is where we went inside, and this is where we ended, and there is much more that I did not talk to you about. Now, let's go to year 95. In 95, this intersection that you see here, this rondo here that you see here, right, did not look like this. This looked like this. It looked like that. It did not even look like that, because even this one here was improved, you know. Even this here, it did not look like this. It was just, you would just get like an asphalt road like this. Let me demonstrate to you. This is an old asphalt here. It would be just like this, wide like this. That's all it was, like this. And this would just be, it would just be like this, the road, and that's it. You turn either right or left, and that's it. Yeah, that's exactly that rondo looked like in 1995. Now this is Zminets. They call it Zminets, like that. This is basically what this is like. There was nothing going on, just like everywhere else, like in Croatia or Bosnia or in Serbia or in Belarus or in Russia or in Ukraine or in, I don't know, in Germany or in Britain or whatever the hell I was. I had a group of kids, you know, group of my own age boys that were like 24, 25 and eager to work, you know, rookies. They started the life and looking for these employment opportunities, waking up early and running, taking me to the locations where I was told to appear at a certain time. And I would run with them. Hopefully for them that would be like a lifetime school, what can be done to the human if it's drugged up in that sense. But this here, this, which you cannot see anymore, look, it's all finished, grass is everywhere here, still remained here, look. See, this for us, this was like an autobahn. We would not go in this asphalt roads and stuff like that. No, we had other plans. And when I mentioned this to Vinko, what do you remember? He said, what do you remember from this place? Now you will tell me what you remember. And I started with this kind of shortcuts like that. I felt like he's gonna choke me. When I pointed out in what you see here still, that would take you right across here, because it's a village here behind. Between these houses you go and you are inside of the village. He wanted to choke me. The trees, they were half the size that you see now. You're talking about 26 years ago, you know. 25 years ago. 24 years ago. 24 years ago, the first thing that happened in 98, this here, which started with a mistake because of this here. In 95, this became a big deal. We would walk through here toward what I will demonstrate for what eventually they hoped for. It would turn into the business center, like commercial, like industrial area, which would offer this local people for whom they were very concerned unemployment, a source of income, basically, a connection with the outside world. And so this led into mistake, this one here. Abandoned, or with a thought that something like this would eventually open for the locals in the future sometimes. They continued, they proceed with created a rondo that looked like this. After something like this already happened in the city of the Novo Mesto, and also in some other Ljubljana and stuff like that. So they told me it's gonna look like this, but initially this was not exactly the idea, like that. So a little adjustment. What exactly took us through this already now completely forgotten road, side road that I demonstrated you in this direction? We would go in the mornings in 95, right here where the corn is, right across, boom boom, on a foot with Americans. Is this industrial zona, in this little place they hoped for they would start. What you see here, this here, I'm going to be really precise about this kind of stuff. (2001). Very late. 2000 and I don't know, 2004, 2005, something like this, later stage. But this here, this was something that appeared sometimes, and it was interesting to them. This is not really the stuff I would be looking forward to orient myself, because of all other data I still have. We will be heading this way, and this is this industrial zona, a place where things will start to happen. The first company they hoped, which faced transition from the public sector into the private sector in 95-96, was scheduled. I think it did happen, but it did not go well for the company. What exactly they started to produce inside in there, I do not know. Germans, however, knew about absolutely everything that went on around here. And so Angela Merkel alone updated me with the situation here, that they are not doing well at all. Sometimes, however, in 2000, these people are facing a real trouble. Total collapse. Another one after the state. Even in private hands, things did not go well. Germans offered these people either some kind of license, market. They created some kind of pact. And ever since, this baby took off like insane. They produce glass wool. In case you wonder what that would be like insulation material for the housing, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it's really bad for the nature. It brings a lot of pollution into the local stream. I didn't like that a little bit, not even a bit. But it does provide locals with some sort of employment, and their company, it could be Ljubljana. Okay, this is this thing here. This is Ljubljana. Ljubljana have over 500,000 people. There's a lot of cars, there's a lot of traffic, especially here when you go toward Kran here. This is a lot of traffic here. And here I was heading from Skofja Loka with a truck like this in 2006, after undergoing a really deep MK Ultra with this individual. His daughter was really beautiful. I like it. She was really beautiful. I would be quite interested, but not under this kind of circumstances, definitely not. I was dispatched to this Stegna. This is industrial zona, industrial location, industrijska zona Stegne, industrial zone Stegne, where you would have all sorts of companies inside based. An individual who was interested in the daughter from this Habjan transport, from the house, therefore I have demonstrated you. Again, located in the center of this Zminec here. The local guy became interested in her, and this guy became a dispatcher working for this company. He already was a truck driver and stuff like this, then he became a dispatcher and stuff like that, whatever the case was. Two guys that participated in MK Ultra from, and many other guys too. It was also guys from other republics, from Bosnia and so on, that this guy would give job to. They all participated in MK Ultra. All these guys I remember from MK Ultra. We can go quite far when it comes to MK Ultra, when it pertains to this company. They played a little bit too much. This guy promised me he would take me, they took me as a retaliation for whatever issues these people have had, straight to this Stegne industrial zone. Now I'm gonna click in and zoom inside of one. That's basically what this looks like. And I would drive with the truck driver, drugged up, and apparently that he would be looking for a location. Therefore, brought from United States of America, drugged up, brought straight here into this place. And it would be all about the location. All about the location that did not exist anywhere in the GPS, anywhere on the telephone, anywhere, absolutely anywhere at all. Look, going back and forth in all these businesses from door to door, asking about the address where I should deliver the stuff with what you see here for probably even 2 hours. Dispatcher would not answer, would not give me a clear instructions on where to deliver. Drop off. I eventually found myself in a problem and have in one of the companies stroke a fence. Not very much, not to the point that I would have to change the fence or anything like this, but eventually I had to pay out of my own pocket due to complete stupidity, due to completely idiotic issues from this dispatcher. I had to recompensate the company for destroyed, as I'm about to demonstrate here. I just have to find that company. In Slovenian language we say steber. Okay, I did put on pause so that I could find properly this thing here. Yeah, this is the proper location. This is all this sauna. This is like, I don't know, 1,000 businesses, and this address they gave me nowhere existed in the system. Nowhere on a GPS. Nowhere when you would call the instructions for the state. If you would call the instructions from through the telephone, so that you would get instruction, and nowhere would you find the instructions. And so I did wander straight into the street here. Situation got even more fucked up because the people from the Stagna, from this commercial industrial center, from all these companies participated in MK Ultra. Such was the case also with the owner of this company where the accident occurred, and I am pretty sure that this here was where I had to replace this pillar of the fence, like that, the original pillar. This is not a joke. This is not a joke because I had to literally cement. You don't understand. Cement, put the pillar inside, and connect one with the fence. I had to do this myself, or I would pay out of my own pocket to someone that would go and repair this stuff. This costed me around 150 euros. The owner of this company that you see here, I am not sure, but I think he was from Serbia, but I'm not sure. He was a very, very nice person, a father. He was a very, very nice person. He welcomed me and he was a very nice person. I don't have absolutely nothing against him. I don't think he even anticipated this shit is gonna happen exactly to him. But they did count it on my getting myself screwed up literally while driving back and forth looking for this address, asking people. At least 2 hours I did that day. I did go inside here, then I did go reversed with a beast like this. Had 2 trailers, and I did crash this pillar, and as a result I had to go from Novo Mesto. Remember, in 2006, this is the way it was. This is the kind of stuff they were playing with. I had to go from the city of the Novo Mesto. It wasn't enough now anymore that I drove for free. I did not even get for the fuel costs from Novo Mesto to the Skofja Loka. I got nothing. It's quite a drive, you know. Now I had to go home to Novo Mesto, jobless, without anything, and with my own money to Kran, to this place here. This is even further up in Gorenska, near Austria, to buy a special pillar and deliver this pillar to this place here. My father who went with me to this place, and I would spend the whole day, some Saturday or something, repairing this place. I fixed the place. I handshake with the owner of the company, the Serbian owner, this father. I think he felt bad for me. Said the people liked me, you know. It's not that I would be they liked me. The political shit was so bad that it's just, I think a lot of people liked me, even Serbian people, they liked me. But the thing about it is that this shit these politicians did, this was just the stuff that, if I suspect even that sometimes they would have some kind of people like this that everybody was afraid of, and if those people would participate, especially the people that knew about my case, they would act deliberately aggressively. So that's why I'm not taking anything against people of Skofja Loka, those that were yelling and raising voices and stuff like this. That's okay, because I think that they acted. I don't think that they did this because they had to, whatever, because they would want to, but because they had to. This shit here ruined one day, left me with a 150 euro bill, and after 3 weeks of work, because of this shit here that happened, I did told the owner that I am unwilling to proceed with further employment with him. For all the trips I have made to Skofja, Loka, for the travel expenses, and for the work I have performed, I have never received ever, not even a single dime from this individual here. Not one fucking dime. Nothing. Economically, that did go over 1,000 euros, but psychologically, that eventually, the guy that I purchased this pillar from Kran, this guy, the way they did this shit, I don't know how they knew it, that I'm gonna get myself literally into the accident with this shit, with this truck. They literally expected me to come to pick up this pillar, literally. Not because it would be a company that I would have to identify. All these companies in Kran. They were involved in it. We would go, the economy mission, they would go into the Kran. They have a factories here. They would keep me in Kran as much as possible, so they would bring the companies here. But the thing about it is, they totally procalculated and they totally knew exactly where am I gonna go and purchase the part so that I could go and on my free time compensate for the damage that I caused. Now, if this isn't fucking insane, then I don't know what it is. The psychological impact that this individual had on this case was so damaging that psychologically that it would be even hard to explain. The State Employment Office, Slovenian, never assisted me. The Slovenian State Employment Office in Novo Mesto prohibited me from using any state services, anything. They prohibited it from coming anywhere near. In fact, they dispatched police after me, after the police even lost a case against me on a court in a Novo Mesto on the police station. The police alone lost case against me because in 2007 assassination attempt took place. The neighbor changed the tires, a brand new tires I have purchased. He have stolen them and put old worn out tires on the car, on a brand new car I brought from the US, and I almost fucking killed myself. Not too far, in vicinity of Trebnje. This is the way this shit operated upon my return from United States of America. So just so that you're gonna know what exactly MK Ultra is, how the hell that works, what, if not, I'm gonna tell you, in Poland this crime have gone as far as crippling me. Through immigration procedure, through something they have anticipated, they would use against me through starvation, literally through starvation, compelled into one employment, chosen employment. Either you're gonna do this or you're gonna be on the street or whatever. You're either gonna break your spine or otherwise. Simple as this. So this is how far MK Ultra went in respect to employment. It was not only used to disallow me to obtain employment, like in the United States of America. It was always the chosen employment. And forced unemployment was used for me to exhaust all the savings, because also the state office did not give me any kind of financial support during unemployment. Over 30,000 submissions, job applications went to hell on 2 continents between 2006 2010, which I submitted with attempt to obtain a self-employment. It wasn't about only political asylums I filed across the Europe. Anywhere in Canada, in northern US, in Northern America, in Germany, in Europe, Belgium, Sweden, Norway, Ukraine, Belarus, Hungary. No. It wasn't only about this stuff. It wasn't even about the forced unemployment anymore. It was about using employment to completely dement, that basically disrupt mental process with the shit they have attempted to use through the forced circumstances to get me into. On a workplace where they would torture, where they would do all kinds of stuff, compel you inside, and despite all odds, resulted even in breaking yourself a spine through the injury. Through the such a criminal illegal practices that like in any fucking workbook that you would demand from somebody to for 12 hours to lift boxes that would lift weight like 25 kilos every fucking day after day until you break your spine. This is nowhere in the fucking world they would do this kind of stuff. You know, the Poland actually accomplished that. The employer in a Poland, whom I'm going to go also next to submit more proofs about it, who was involved in MK Ultra with idea to cripple me literally, also had what I did not mention. In a forklifters were operated through the Bluetooths, and so they would play. You would go on a forklifter, and the forklifter all of a sudden would stall. Like at full speed, you would be working, you would be doing your stuff, you would be driving, and all of a sudden it would just go wham, and it would stop. And that's because they were telling me that's going to be used. So they told me, we guarantee you that one time you're going to fall off the forklifter. This is the kind of shit I had to play with in Poland. This was actually video recorded. They had a cameras inside of this fucking factory, and somebody, I guess they entertained certain folks with this kind of Hunger Games. This was in Poland in respect to Donald Trump. I'm gonna go. There was a whole set of people I recognized, Ukrainian people and so on, and we're gonna play that kind of stuff too. This is gonna be coming in a following video recordings. But the next video you're gonna see me, I'm gonna go to, it's gonna take me straight back to the city of the Novo Mesto where I am from. You know, therefore back to this side of the country, Slovenia, little country, where Melania Knaus, Trump now, is from. And I will concentrate into the project, this one here. Podjetniški inkubator Podbreznik. You know, it's basically something like this here. Which already this. So they already have orchestrated for the Novo Mesto how I'm going to try to self-employ myself in literally this project financed mostly by the European Union pays for about 70% of the expenditure, the costs per potential self-employed individual that would self-employ himself. Slovenian state only 30%. They already created on how I'm gonna waste time coming here talking back and forth, knowing basically the people, the building that you see, an individual alone involved in this stuff, what they are gonna do to me. Thanks to them, I have eventually managed to even record upon successfully recognizing them, identifying them, yet another location right here in Novo Mesto, which Slovenian state attempted to use to screw me up more, basically, to leave me more outside on the rain. And I would not even say that this is only with the Slovenian state that it's got to do. It's got to do also with the European Union, with everybody, because the idea these people had And I don't like to go after the European Union because foremost this is Slovenia. There is no need also for me to blame European Union. Stuff that I have learned about Moscow and Belgrade, no way am I gonna go and point into the European Union. I give up on that stuff. It's clear who is behind it all, why, but the grandeur idea about this was again to screw me up and probably even use, because the funds are from the European Union, for me to point into the European Union. Waste of time, but really thanks to the people, especially to the lady that is running this project and her husband, whom I have met already in 1995, if not in 96, in Ljubljana. In Ljubljana, in another location, not in Stegne. There is another location in Ljubljana. He started as a forklifter, literally, and thanks to this case he completely excelled and accomplished a lot. Became like kind of director, something like that. It was really good for him. I think that's Industrijska Zona Vic that he used to be, and in particular he might have even worked inside of this one of the warehouses. He was in a big ass warehouse, whatever the hell it was. It might have been what you see today is maybe even Euroton or something like that, right in this area here. It was like a big ass warehouse like this, and he would be he started like a forklifter and so on, and then he would just climb his ladder up, 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 up. Not only the daughter from the couple you have heard me talking to, who came from Skofja, Loka, and met the local boy here from Rateš, from Novo Mesto, and as a consequently they tied, you know, hopefully it's going to be a beautiful marriage is going to grow out of it. But also this lady that is running the project, who was also, I think she really was interested in me. Oh, she is good looking too. But the guy also is a very good looking guy, and he's a really, really great guy. I like him all around. They too tied knot, and they got married and have kids, and thanks God she did this, because my case, this kind of a case, if I go back to this kind of stuff, I am sorry ladies if I ever hurt some of you. If I did hurt you, this really was something else. This was a really completely different stuff. Staying on the side, like one of this, not she but another one that I had earlier, have stated me she would do and observe, because she's no longer even sure about what goes on. Sometimes I like her, sometimes I didn't. It all depended. It depends how crazy I felt for the day. Really is the best thing to do when you have the political stuff like this. Is so, it becomes so dangerous that you can get yourself in trouble before you even know. All right, so it's okay now, but back then it was better to just, like one of them said, watch from the distance. Thanks to the participants inside of this building, not only to her, I did manage already to collect enough proofs to prove the point that not only in Poland but also in Slovenia, and it was also elsewhere, the state anticipated to destroy me literally through MK Ultra at employment locations, basically. So this is as cruel as it gets, no? This isn't about only keeping somebody away from employment, blacklisting one, blocking him from employment so you can use the psychiatry against one and destroy him. but actually even using MK Ultra to destroy individual psychologically as well as physically. Now nobody ever managed to accomplish something like this, but I did. And so that you, the world, the people can understand that MK Ultra is by far the biggest crime. It's a disease in which a victim is seen like an animal, like less than a subhuman being, by those who grant themselves access to his body, to his soul, when one is drugged up, and also observe one like an animal, like less than a human being. See him in their illusions as somebody unworthy, somebody that anything can be done with, and somebody that must be destroyed at all the cost with the use of violence. So this is basically what MK Ultra is, and I can say I have to say I accomplished more than what I possibly could. This is going to be the audio I will present you as next, and we'll use these proofs for what I stated. It resulted in no less than 26 years of forced unemployment, of me being blacklisted, completely jobless, receiving no less than 3,000, maybe 2,000 euros of support from Slovenian state within the last, actually since 2006. Then you go and count. This is 15 years I received from Slovenian state 2,000 euros if I did, and probably I did not even 2,000. Prohibited from coming at the state office to search for the work, stuff like that. Huh? Not even Joseph Stalin dreamed about what Alexander Vučić, Serbian Chetnik, criminal, what Vladimir Putin, this is the Russian gangster president of the Russian state, have accomplished through United States of America, through the Donald Trump to the president of United States of America. Not even they dreamed, not even he dreamed something like this could have been possible to accomplish. So my congratulations to Alexander Vučić, my congratulations to to the Vladimir Putin. And you, my dear friends, European Union citizens and American citizens, ask yourself, what the fuck is this? What kind of world have you allowed one have become?
Samo ne bo ugriznil. Jo, moraš ugriznil.
Mimo reči, da bo ugriznil, sam lahko pa če raz pištol.
Ugriznil bo, ne reč?
Ne. Jaz sem dejal, da verjetno ne bo ugriznil.
Da verjetno ne bo ugriznil, sem me presenetil.
Ne, niste dobro poslušal.
Ne, ti po Gorenci govoriš.
Gorenci,
Ampak znate pa biti zelo glasna.
Ja, bolj delamo pisme, kot pa...
Polsko me rade fante.
To drži.
Nije tja nobena.
Da imamo fanti rade punčke.
Ja, punčke. Fanti imamo rade punčke.
Od srca nam rajska niso kaj. Nekaj?
Je to. Bolj nerjeno, rade pismo. Nije jasno, to
Ja, to je.
Čeprav sam se treba videti, da je.
Pa je bolj tudi na vrstne glede.
Ne, na nogeno.
Resno?
Jaz sem tretja violina. Jutri, ali pa se služba prideva, gre na mene, če bi me ne bilo.
Pa jo, ti je zaradi tega, ker je ona ven tega.
Ne, to je več. Sam si bila mečka.
To je bila mečka, pa jaz pa šola, pa to smo skupili.
Pa jaz sem bil takrat službeno vsot nekaj.
Pa ti boš tako registriran.
Pa jaz sem biti, nisem bolj oska. Ti pa nimajo radne bolj.
Pa mladili.
Pa znam tem za njo. Zdaj ne bo, čas si pa mlada.
Pa pa ti pametno.
To je taka zelo pametna.
Ja,
Tam nismo zikar, da je.
to kar je mi dovoljno, ne? To je. A vi ste pod Slovenija?
Ja,
Aha.
to se rok.
A je to se ločen spod? Zato vam da vse jasno naravno. No, v bistvu da zvikaj.
Ne, kjera se postavlja.
Kjerka se je postavila?
Ona je narasla.
Ampak vi ste tukaj na umer.
Ne,
To ni prvi.
ne, prvi. Samo nista pa velika.
Vi ste pa velika ljudje? Aha, jaz sem bil prepričan, da ste morda bili tega mesta, pa da je on...
Pobarov, a ne? Pobarov. Ja, a greš v Loko živeti.
Razumem. Aha. Vaš fond pa je? Izplata za...
Ja,
Aha, fino. Ja. Moja generacija, ki je sem tisti zelo. Ja, mlad.
Ne, čez 5 let, če en 5 let znajo, pa sedaj pomljaš generacijo.
Tiče, da je tiče. To se Loki so pa znanci za Habjan. Na kamione.
Aha, ja.
Habjan, ne?
Habjana, veš,
Habjan.
na kamione.
Ja, tam na stran.
Ja,
Ja. Kamione ima.
ja.
Enkrat, ko sem iz Amerike poslušal, sem za njega kamion vozil.
A ja?
Ja.
Ja.
Iz mnoga mi je pokazali, da so operovce zvuče kamion vozil. Ampak ni trajali, da je
No, to vidim, to je.
Brzo, ne, veš, to je bilo. Nekaj grozno. Takšnega se kvota,
Pa doma.
po nekem novem mestu, ja. Če vi imate nekaj tamo lepo, kaj se skoraj je.
Zdaj, ko sem naredil Viški gora, ne, v bodo tako skupino in tako nekaj zopet. Zdaj smo pa. Pa popravljamo, da smo pa.
No,
Ni znano, da pa.
ni znao, ja.
Tu je na Slovensku bomba mosta mera. Tu se igra na Slovensku.
To je pa draga stvar, ja. Najbolj se je narediti.
Industrija pa se ljudja pa naredi. Ne se više gleda. Ja,
Ja, to je normalno tudi.
ja, ne samo.
Ja, nisem se to razgleda. To mora pa ena druga stvar.
V redu. Ne drugače, imam posebno. V Loki je knap zelo. Ja, se je Loki nisem želal. Samo, ko se pri zimnika non-stop pa že 4 metrov na dan. Ampak se prej so na kopku prvi, zdaj na plin, ampak se zbira.
To sramota. To je znikore. Vaša žena je parežna, ampak ravno. Centrum.
Moja žena je v Skofju.
Mislim, v Skofji Loka. Ampak mesta. Ona je iz ene hiše, a ne? Ki je zelo zraven centra. Ni velika, ne? To je hiše. Bodo nas vedel, ampak desem je nas. Kaj se zdi pa, tako da bom rekel, ena kilometri, kako možda kaj takega, nisem se tam neka kmetija, nekaj takega, po cesti. Zdaj se v ulici skoraj, da zelo se je naravno, ne bi rekel.
Gdje?
Kako?
A kjeno?
Ne, tam je Skofja.
Da je tudi Skofja Loka?
Vse pa vidim na razen svoje.
Kjer, gdje?
Ja. Vaša bi se tam
Ne.
Če ste vi, tiste, ki ste vi pa kaj ona. Vi ste ven iz Skofja Loka.
Mi da smo izgleda.
Ja, no, ampak originalno mislim.
Vi ste reči še?
To verjamem, ampak to ja, ampak originalno ste, vi ste tako enih 15 minut nekaj takega stran.
Ja.
Je nekaj takega, ne da?
Dobro, tam sem ta živ, ja.
Pa je vse ena stvar. V Skofji Loka se gre takole v to smer, potem se zavije pa gor. V to smer, takole.
Jaz sem drugače, če vam nekaj 15 let se govorim.
Ampak sem tole mi povedati proti. Gremo iz Skofje Loke, recimo po cesti. Iz Skofje Loke, ki je cesta, takole. Da se pride, pa se pol, k vam, ko se gre, se zavije na desno. Je tako?
Včak.
Kako včak? Cesta, ki sta...
Zdaj
Iz Skofje Loke se gremo.
Zdaj na info vas morite iz mestskih izjed.
Za eno sem že povedal, da je tam skoraj iz centra iz Skofje Loke. Ampak vi, za eno je imela mimo grede, videla sta imela, mislim, da sta si tudi zlom, mislim, da sta si ga, bom rekel, ne vem, če bi bil popolnoma na novo narejen, pa se nič reči. Ampak vsaj obnovljen, nekaj takega tam enega leta. Rekel sem enega leta 2002. Ja. Se zmotil.
Za 15 let.
Za 15 let?
Več,
ampak ste ga obnovili, za barva, kaj se naredil. Da, 2012.
92.
Kako je bilo?
Tukaj je leto 91, 92.
91, 92.
Evo se za 200 spomni. Brez zamere, no, ampak to je bilo.
Lepo, kar tukaj.
Izvolite.
Ampak
A lahko vzamem mobitel pa slikam. Pa mu dal na YouTube še un, ki je zanj skopalka ndrca, da sem privali lepo trl.
A vam svojega da?
Ne, neko.
Ja, da, ima pa se slikal.
Ni zanimiv.
Ne, v Krki se to pa da.
Jaj, zelo.
Ja sem se celo živim. Ja. Ne vem, tukaj imela, nekaj sredi. Zdaj je pa verjetno, zdaj je zatvorijo se. Hvala lepa, družina, kako vidiš skop? Družina je Skofja Loka. Jaz sem Skofjana, osem.
Janko.
Andreja.
Aha. Ajde se mi sedi. Tako je pol.
Spet gremo na kaj. Okej.
Pa pa ste kar tlale, vidite, to je vse.
Da bomo zdaj več kjer tukaj.
Hvala lepo vam. Lep dan želim. Vidim,